Earlier this morning, Courtney and Nick and little Kodak got in the boat and headed back home. Mike and I decided that we would take a portion of the day and give Cayo Costa a more thorough investigation. So we took Good Times right up to the dock to tie it off and go exploring.
Wind to push you off a little bit.
Mike and I were starting to become quite a team at tying up Good Times to docks.
You tied?
Jabberwocky, on the other hand, was still struggling a little bit with getting on and off of this vessel. Bayard was not struggling.
Good boy. There's Craig.
The dogs immediately left a little bit of a deposit. And then I also left a deposit, the $2 fee per person for Mike and myself. Well worth the money, I think, to help keep a state park alive. And there happened to be a ranger right there to answer some of our questions. Yeah, I looked up the primitive campsites online and it looked like they were all booked, which I thought was kind of funny. Is that right? Are they still for rent?
I think the only way you can rent them is through America Online. And
Is that the houses we've seen sticking with docks out in the bay?
the state owns like 95% of the island. That still leaves like
Oh.
vacants that are
Okay.
privately owned. So there are like 22 houses on the island, I believe.
Huh.
Really?
The state has 3. They've, like I say,
Nice.
Don't make me put a noose on you.
Thank you.
It was interesting to learn that not all of the island belonged to the state park, and that people actually lived there on private land. And it was nice to get a map from the ranger, and with that, we were on our way down an old road that I had been down before a long time ago. You know, when I camped here, we had to drag our kayaks across this sandy road. It was about 7/8 of a mile, probably still is. The ranger came out and met us at the campsite the next day, and we told him that we had paddled all the way from Bokeelia Bay, and the ranger's like, really? Wow, you're adventurous. Like, yeah, or stupid, one or the other. But the following day, he said he'd give us a ride back. So they got that thing that holds people, and we were able to put the kayaks in it. He drove us back in their F-150 that they have, and he had the AC pumping. Oh my God, it felt so good, man. I hadn't felt the air conditioning for like forever, it seemed. And that short ride was one of the best rides I'd had. And the rangers were super nice. They usually are, probably because the people that come here are in a good mood and having fun. I see that at the kayak rental place a lot too. It's a lot easier to deal with the public when people are having fun versus having an electrical or plumbing business where you show up and their house is falling apart. That can make for less happy people. This is a cool little spot right here. The ground.
People that do live on the island. Interesting.
Yep. I did not know that.
Man, they living in paradise. Don't have much people to deal with, much traffic.
Yep.
Damn. But as soon as you go into that, the mosquitoes kick in.
Yeah.
Feel 'em? Yeah, because they don't eat us.
Yep.
Big one or a small one? You know?
Big one. The main.
Yep, got it. Look at that.
Captain America over here is spraying up. Ooh, I hear him in my ears.
That was a good call there.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's where you go camping and hiking if you have COVID, I guess. There's a bench there, Bayard, if you need to sit down. Now try if you can to imagine pulling kayaks full of a tent and coolers and all kinds of gear across this long road. And the road is long and it's really hot. If you bring pets, be prepared because it gets stifling hot out here. And when you finally get across to where the other side is, today at least, we found a little bit of disappointment. This pavilion here was closed so that people didn't accidentally gather. And then there was another sign that I found particularly disturbing. I was very much looking forward to letting the dogs cool off in the beach water. So I figured we'll just look around at some of the sites, maybe go check out the restrooms and the cabins to show you guys. But we weren't allowed to do that either. I guess it's not a place where you want to go if you're going to have pets with you. Sorry, pups. I must say, having dogs here at Cayo Costa is a lot more disappointing than I remember. So we headed back to the boat. We're back aboard. Good times. Having a little something to eat. We were going to eat on the beach. I was going to let the dogs swim around, but we were informed that we weren't allowed to do that. There were signs everywhere saying you can't do that. Would have been nice. They wouldn't have been nearly as overheated as they were. I did bring water for the pups, but you know, they were panting pretty hard by the time we got back to the boat, walking to the other side and then back here. The ranger that we met initially did mention nothing about the dogs not being allowed to be on the beach, even though there was nobody there. And one thing I've observed since we're back, Pelican Bay has a boat there, there's one back there, there's a jet skier, there's a big boat there, a sailboat, another boat there, another big boat just came in, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 boats there, plus ourselves. So there's over 20 boats right here in Pelican Bay. And here we have Cayo Costa. It looks like the jet skiers are about to pull up. Probably gonna use the bathroom or something. But aside from them, there's nobody here. You've got a bunch of nice docks. It's a beautiful day. There's boats all over the place and nobody is using the park. I think it's pretty sad because the park is wonderful. You got an awesome beach, 9 miles long, and yet here everybody decides to go to this little spit of beach over there. Probably because if you go over there, people don't break your balls. It's not really a slight on the rangers. I'm sure they're just doing their job. Maybe it's laziness on on people. Maybe they don't want to pay $2 for a fee. But you know, you see $100,000 boats out here. So I don't think money is the issue. Plus people go to Disneyland all the time. Spend thousands and thousands of dollars because there's entertainment there. It's, you know, to me, a state park is very entertaining. It's very family friendly. And again, they have nice docks, they've got bathrooms, and there's running water on the island. I think they're missing out. I don't think you want to turn it into Disney World. Not like that, but it does make me wonder, why do people prefer to go out and just sit on a sandbar? Maybe it's because there's not a guy in a uniform looking at you and telling you can't do this and you can't do that. The reason that's the case is probably because if people went over there and they weren't monitored and there wasn't a guy in a uniform wagging their finger, there'd be bottles everywhere and beer cans, and makes me sad to see a nice place. A place that'll, well, forever be in my heart, going unused. Sorry, Cayo Costa. You just kind of let me down this time. Good news is, we get to explore all kinds of places. We can take good times around the corner. And there'll be plenty of beaches that the dogs are allowed to run on. This adventure's not over yet. Hi, puppy.